all wants 200, baby.
You ready to get back to the trading action?
You aim, you shoot, and make money.
It's going to be a great day. You guys know where you're at.
Welcome, everyone, to another what's seeming like flat open. It's definitely summer, isn't it, Kevin? I'm looking around. There's not a lot going on.
Certainly. I mean, we saw that yesterday too. Congrats yesterday as well. I'm inspired by the live stream with the bot. Yesterday, similar, right? I mean, the bot took one trade, but hey, that's the point of it. If there's no trades, then don't take any. As traders, we were just talking about it. Sometimes we want to trade. As a degenerate trader, I want to trade. But if there are no trades, well, guess what? We don't have to find the trades. Let the trades find you via Michael's bot.
Well, and you're at the right place for it, because we're gonna be hunting. We've got Mitch gonna come in when he's done cheating with us at the other Traded TV place, and then
Good morning, guys.
Also, I believe Steve will be popping by as well.
Yeah,
and we'll have a big group of nerds here, and between some of us, we'll definitely find something going on. But yeah, it's one of those things where, well, we can just take a look at it, right? This is when I ran my list this morning of potential trades, I was shocked that it was like the lowest it had been in a year, and then I was like, well, if you look at the market. Look at, yes, this is a 30-minute chart, so this isn't even very long. We've done absolutely nothing for a long period of time. And then yesterday and this morning's action is just wild to me. And this is the time where, we were talking a little bit in the green room there about, right, over trading, especially for discretionary traders. This kind of action hurts, I think, traders more than anything. We all go, it's funny, I'll get messages and calls from my buddies when the market is crashing. And they're like, hey, man, are you okay? I'm like, man, I love when the market's crashing. It's great. You get a couple shorts in. Those are fine. You get a couple buying opportunities on maybe stocks that you liked, but they were too high. Give me a market crash all day over, right, what we saw yesterday, which was nothing.
Well, right. Exactly. You can make, not everyone understands that. Like, you can make money up or down. The sideways action, I mean, flatlining. We got to have a heartbeat, guys. Got to have a market heartbeat, because you can make money on the short side going down, long side coming up, but sideways, not so great. But if you can, this is something I've said to a lot of my guys. If you can learn to create a state of mind that's unaffected by the market in these flatline conditions, the up and down action, the struggle is going to cease to exist. It's like if you change your expectations, the expectations are a visual representation of what you think the market's going to do, then it changes really everything. And a lot of this is solved via your bot, by the way.
Yeah, well, we'll certainly get to that. I've got a couple names that I'm watching here, but do you have anything in particular that you're hunting at today? Do you got any big names?
There's a few tickers I'm looking at here. Here on Thinkorswim, I got a couple I'm looking at. I lean more short, because I like to let the trades come to me. So rather than predicting volume, I kind of set the levels, look left of the chart to predict right, and then if they come to the areas I'm looking at, get to those liquidity zones, I'll take the short. This GXAI is interesting. Previous close 110. It's kind of going sideways a bit at $1.70 right now. But if we look left on GXAI. Let's see what we see here. We're seeing some resistance, a little ceiling up here around 220, and then above that, all the way up towards 350. Now, GXAI, I do a few different types of analysis on these. We did have some fundamentals come out at 8 o'clock. It's an AI image and video creation platform. They're targeting multi-billion-dollar market. They love, those keywords and the PR.
I was about to say, that's just that's a word salad if I've ever heard
word salad. Yeah. I'm sure there's algorithms out there that pick up like those keywords, and they're like, buy. So that one up towards like 220 starts getting me interested. GXAI. There's a few others, LASE, LASE, that had some earnings. It's up from 248 to 450. 520 is very strong there. I'm watching 520 as a key level. And then, of course, for some of these hangovers that we go over, SNGX had a lot of long bias traders in it yesterday. I'm looking for a fade here. We can see where a lot of the longs are in this ad. We got a ceiling 480 up towards $6. I like this heavy against kind of that 450 area SNGX. So I'm looking for a slow fade there. But Mr. Michael, what do you got? Anything you're looking at?
Well, a couple things. So Pan W, I'll pop here. Pan W had earnings a couple days or yesterday. And the big gap.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
I do a lot of just fading gaps in general.
Yeah.
My whole philosophy on day trading anyway has just been built on things quite often get overextended, right? You get all this hype, and then you get the professional traders come in and they kind of look to take it. So this one I've got set up for a view app to view app fade. So if we get a breakdown of this view app, and then we're going to be targeting that one on Pan W. WULF, this wolf.
The 31% short interest there.
Yeah, it's been selling off. It's been under VWAP for a while, and looking to see if this breaks up, and then open, which is hilarious
I
because
saw that, dude. Yeah, we went over that.
in my personal account, I am very long and happy, and I actually want to see it get to and through $5 here. If it can get through that, we talked about that yesterday, and this is one of the benefits I find about Trade the Pool for sure, is that this is a long swing, and it's a long swing in my own account, and I've got a fair amount of money in it, so I hope these things make a bunch of money, which is great. But I'm looking at this short from a day trading standpoint, just because it's had this big gap and it's way over VWAP here. So again, perfect world for me is we come in a little bit off the open, I make a little bit of money there, and then we rip into the end of the day and we go to like $20 because I'm holding this one for the squeeze, right? I'm in from somewhere around here, around 250, and I'll probably protect that price now, but I'm looking to see if things can get just absurd. I just want, give me one of those a year. That'd be great. If we can just get nuts.
There he is, waking us up.
There's a cheater.
What's up? How we doing?
Hey.
Starting SoFi. I started it on Trader TV. I don't know what I did, but no, I'm just playing. It got news.
Yes,
there it goes. There it goes. That was the stock I was talking
Plans to
about.
launch blockchain-backed international money transfers.
It's always good when you're on a show and a host asks you, "What's the one stock you want to see move today?" And then you pick the stock 2 minutes before news comes out. Let's go.
Insider.
Let's go.
Insider alert.
And
Very
what
nice.
about that open door, baby? It's there, baby. Opening the door. Out there.
I'm excited, but I'm trying to keep. It gives me kind of GME vibes back in the day. Now that was, I've told the story before, but
I'm long with you, buddy.
that's good.
I joined the party.
I didn't get the first GME run, but I'll remember this vividly, kind of forever. Is that it had this initial move, right, and then came back down. I got this move, and that was, I think, my first six-figure trade ever in the bank from this crate, because this was just insane. These were, you're talking in a couple days, it went up 500%, right? So, even a small amount put in ended up being just insane. So I'm hoping, again, now that I said that, I've definitely jinxed it and this thing's going to go to zero, but it kind of has that feeling, right? It's getting that cult following above. It's got a huge resistance area here. And just like GME, I didn't get any part of this at all, but we came back for a little bit. So then I bought the second move, and I'm hoping that we get that move again. That'd be great. We're looking to buy a trailer, right? I think that'd be good. Right? Take that and put that into a nice little trailer. Go do some camping as soon as we're allowed back in the woods here. That'd be great. So everyone, let's go. Let's see if we can get over 5.
Yeah,
that's the number.
Do you lean into it, scale out along the way? How are you thinking about that?
No, I try not to. Sometimes I do, and I kind of consider it like a moment of weakness when I do. But if you have a target or you have a plan, it's always mathematically worse to scale out of a position. Now, psychologically, it's better. So if you're to the point where you need that, then great. But if I think that this thing could get to 10 and I want to, my plan is, if we get the squeeze, I want to sell into it, or use some sort of trailing stop, put like a 5 EMA or something on the thing, then again, mathematically, I should stick with that plan. Scaling out is one of those things we do because we're not robots, right? We do it to be comfortable, right? To say, okay, well, at least I took some off the table. So I try not, but I still do. I still have a moment of weakness every now and then. Well, I'll take some off the table just to. It's all pain avoidance, right? We take stuff off the table just to. Same thing, same reason we move a stop to break even. It's just to avoid the pain of a good trade turning into a bad trade, even though it's probably not the right thing to do over time.
Yeah, I think it's always an inner conflict, right? I think one of the things is you got to look at your trading history and see how it's worked for you or not worked for you, right? Some people it works for, some people it doesn't. And the one thing I would say is, like, let's say if you're intending a 3-to-1 return, right? That's what I always try to focus profit loss, right? Just the ratio. And when you're focusing on the ratio, right? Let's say if you're doing a 3-to-1. I feel like it's okay to maybe if you're taking first profit because you reached that 3-to-1, and then you're just looking to see if you can get 4-to-1 or 5-to-1. That seems to make sense more to me in the mathematics.
I would
at
agree
least.
more with that because that's a different beast, right? Is that
Mhm.
you're locking in the target that you have, and then you're
Yeah.
trying to get an extension on that target. That's totally cool. I think the problem that people fall into is they're shooting for that big move, but then they're always like very quickly moving their stop to break even, or they're always very quickly taking like 2/3 off the table, and then
Yep.
it's like that's just over time going to screw your results. And the whole moving stop to break even thing, I know that's something that's very common out there, but if you think about it, if you are okay accepting the original risk of the trade, then unless something has dramatically changed in the trade that's no longer interesting to you, you should keep it, right? So,
Yeah.
like with open, like what I would need to see, and it may happen this weekend, is if the new, because I don't know when the new short report data comes out. If the new short report data comes out and this thing's only like 15% shorted at this point because all the shorts have covered, well, that's my whole synopsis for the trade kind of gone. So that would be a scenario where I think it makes sense to go back and go, right, I'm looking for a short squeeze. If the new short data comes out and it's not heavily shorted anymore, then it's, the reason for me to be in
It
is
invalidates,
is
yeah.
gone. So it's time to leave.
At that
And
point, it's almost gambling, if it
yeah,
invalidates based on your original theory,
right. It's like at that point it would be okay. Now, cut out a big chunk of the position and or apply a tight trailing stop or something like that, because yeah, it's one of those things where it's very hard to do. But if you have written down, and this is kind of the first part about being systematic, the reason that you're taking the trade, then great. You know that as long as that exists still, you should be in the trade. One of my buddies, Brian Lund, always just says, he's a swing trader, and his simple idea of how you should hold an idea is to just say, if you are in an uptrend for your time frame, then you stay in the trade. And then that's his whole every day he sits down, he looks at his portfolio and he says, for my time frame, is this in an uptrend? Yes. Well, then I stay in. And if not, no. And that's his idea of saying this is the thing that I need to do in order to get out of that position.
Yeah, it's a tough one, guys. I think it's always about just looking at your history. It's fun though to try different strategies if you're struggling, right? I think that's the important thing. Like, don't just like struggle to death where like you're sticking with a strategy that's clearly just not working, right? Find something that could work for you. Maybe it is the hold, right? Maybe it's more swing, right? You hear us talking more swing right now, right? I mean, at the end of the day,
Well, yeah, look at the look at the market, right? And this is
yeah,
the thing, is there's sometimes, like we did
it depends, right? It
literally
swings
nothing.
back and forth, right, Michael?
Yeah, because right here, it's this is a rough swing trading environment, but there were some great day trades to be had when the market was moving like 3-4% a day. Now that the market has done nothing for a week, like absolutely nothing. This is last Wednesday's price, and
yeah.
we're at Tuesday today, and we're right there. So we've done nothing for a week. So now it's like, okay, yeah, you talk a little bit more longer term, because I couldn't imagine being someone who was trying to battle this price action yesterday.
Yeah,
Man, that would have been hard.
let's have a educational moment. So when you look at this, when you talk about this, Michael, you and I know this kind of just by price action, but a lot of times we could also look at the VIX, right? At
Mhm.
of this, right? And
I've seen VIX. Another cool way to do it, and I think you have this on your chart too, Mitch, is just look at the ATR of the spot,
yeah, yeah, that's a
right?
good way of doing it.
Right. So you just grab this. So this indicator on the bottom is how much is the market moving every day, and this is in points. You can do it in percentage. You can do it whenever you want. You can see right here we are moving 20 points a day. That's huge, right? There's a lot of intraday action to be had there. Now we are moving 5 points a day. So right, yeah, there's all these different ways, and this is again, we're walking down the road of systematizing things, right? Where this is one of those things where you could create a system. I know a lot of people, they'll use the VIX or they'll use the ATR of the SPY, and they'll just say, if the VIX is at this level, I'm an investor. If it's at this level, I'm a swing trader. If it's at this level, I'm a day trader. And they just use that as their way to completely quantify what it is they're doing in every scenario, and they don't have to think about it. They just wake up and look at the VIX and say, okay, am I holding things or am I actively trading? How's it going for me today?
I think that's such an important thing. Of course, we could also use the VIX, and what I wanted to kind of point out is that we're seeing that what's called like that VIX meltdown, right? And when the VIX starts to melt down, this is when we start to see stock pickers environment. This is another thing to key in on, right? It's that only we're going to see fewer stocks kind of lead the rally, right? It's not just all the boats just being lifted anymore. Well, when the gets elevated, stocks move more with the overlying index, right? The SPY matters more, the Qs matter more when the VIX is elevated. But when it's down here, like melting like it is now, well, it matters less. So you could see a play that could stay strong, even though the market's kind of like chopping or going sideways, right? Or starting to pull back even a little bit. So I think that's why it's important to really look at your stocks now and kind of hone in a little bit more and weigh a little less the overall market conditions, because we're seeing this ever rotation, and that could also come into play here where, yeah, the VIX keeps coming down. Maybe it's not tech stocks leading, but it's other stocks that get the little push, and then it's tech stocks. And it's just like this wave balance for the kind of a battle for the rest of the year.
Yeah, I'm just taking a look at.
I got a position there in SoFi now a little bit.
Okay, yeah, and I love what you're saying. And we just need something to happen. Something will happen, right? There's Jack's hole on Friday, so next week we'll probably kick off things. We're getting close to the end of August. This is just this kind of action in the market it makes sense for this time of year. There's always the joke that when I worked at the hedge fund place, that this is the time that the intern can actually get a good parking spot, because all the big guys, they're gone. They're at the Hamptons. They're in Europe. They're doing whatever. And when they come back, that will have a little bit of an interesting. And just talking about you talking about kind of rotation, this RSP chart is just. It is the equal weighted, for those who don't know what RSP is, the equal weighted S&P 500. So this is your average, for lack of a better term, S&P 500 stock. And it's just right up against these all-time highs. It didn't make an all-time high yet, and it's just been basing against this zone. So I, for one, am all in for that stock pickers market that Mitch was talking about, just because it's more fun than just here's five stocks that are moving, and you have to pay attention to these 5 stocks every day. So that and the IWM are the two to watch for that.
All right, that's enough macro conversation here. Let's get into the micro.
Starts.
Kevin, what's up, my friend? How are the small boys moving this morning?
Land. Yeah.
PRFX, big
Very
runner
interesting.
there, right?
Almost.
Those?
Yes, sir. I told Chad I got a short going 322 right now. I'm watching this 320 area.
Get your chart up if you can.
Yeah. Let me get it.
Get that up for me. But yeah, I'm watching that PRFX. That thing's a freaking ride, right? I did want to let you guys know I do have that SoFi 2467 entry. Looking for this to ride up above 25s today. Have SMR. I cut out the open just because it was just on the swing trade, and I'm just gonna wait for the open to see what happens with open liquidity to play on that. But coming to you, my friend. Now your charts are up.
Yes, sir. PRFX. This one, little U-shaped pattern this morning. I got 320 left of the chart here. There are still some long stepping in here. I'm gonna cut it over the highs here and revisit. The 320 left of the chart was an area of resistance I was monitoring, but it even has up and over, like up towards $5 is what I'm seeing that we could get to on the past chart history. But yeah, there's a few tickers this morning I'm watching. I know we were just going over as well the fears of trading and what, taking some off early, scaling out. When I had first
Yeah.
started trading, and even to this day, one of my biggest fears was that I struggled with a lot. I just was taking profits too quickly because I struggled with the fear of losing money and the fear of being wrong. And
Yeah.
so that's why I would scale out. And I know that, that's a problem. And that
Yeah.
exactly Michael said it. It was like, it's an emotional thing that people do. Mathematically, it doesn't make sense. But emotionally, that's what I would do to help keep me in the trades. Because as soon as I'd see money, I'd be like, I'm taking this off the table. An emotional error. So what I would do is like, okay, let me lock in a piece and then adjust my stop to break even, which is Michael said, again, emotional things that we do, not mathematically making sense. That was speaking home to me, what we were discussing there.
Yeah, it's
The
important. One of the things that you just mentioned, it's very important. Traders that start to make money need to learn no longer to just stress about risk. How do I learn to put on for the reward? How do I learn to put risk on instead of having the mentality of always being risk off? But go ahead, Michael.
Well, I was gonna say, and a great book for that, if people are looking for book recommendations, is
Oh, my
Tom
man.
Hogarth, and it's what Best Loser Wins, and he talks about all
Best
of
Oh,
this,
I
loser
about
love
wins.
how
that.
the scaling out of positions, moving stop, break even, all of these things are all pain avoidance exercises, right? That's
Yeah.
all it is. And again, I'm not completely poo pooing them. If you are in the stage where that pain is too much, like I said, as I slip sometimes as well, do it,
Best loser
right?
wins. Yeah.
But just know that that's what you're doing is you're not, scaling, you're not moving your stop to break even because it's necessarily a
Yeah.
great idea. You're doing so for pain.
And
And then when you acknowledge what it is, that will help you over time kind of get over that and help
I
to
know
hold
so
those
much of
winners a bit
trading is
longer.
doing pretty much what's uncomfortable. I know Mitch and I were talking about it
Mhm.
last week how you got to sometimes even get to the place where you're sizing when you're in the green, not lean into
Yeah.
the tickers that are working for you. If you got the conviction, if you've seen it time and time and time again, start scaling into it versus taking it off.
I
Yeah, he
think
talks a
part of that.
lot about that in that book. About
Yeah.
again, I've never been able to do it successfully, but he talks about
Uh-huh.
one of the things that, and this guy's a multi millionaire trader. He trades. He's European, so I think he just trades a lot of the like DAX futures and things. But yeah, he does that a lot, and just says that's what really started making him very wealthy was just that ability to really lean in when he was right, and as opposed to subtracting from losers in order to get more comfortable to step on the gas and really start to add to winners. And I've
Good.
just I've never been able to do it. So
Good
congrats
setup
on him.
there for GXAI. What do you think about that one, Kevin? I'm watching that one right now, keeping an eye on it.
GXAI, yes, sir. Yeah, that
What do you
was
think?
AI play, right? So what are you looking at? You're on you
Oh,
thinking
this is
oh,
just perfect. Like you can
the
see it.
setup here? Yeah,
The
it's got
setup
a
is.
symmetrical triangle. Yeah,
Yeah.
little
If you can't see this, you've never seen patterns before.
Hmm.
right.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean? It's one of those kind
GXAI.
of patterns.
It's not up too much, and it's like a 6 million in flow. I know it's under that $3 level you mentioned. Some chats
Oh
like to
yeah.
look at, but yeah, it's in a complete like higher lows, lower highs getting formed here, squeeze.
Yeah.
So it's going to do one thing or the other here soon.
Yeah, so what I look
Wise
at
words.
is like you always say, look to the left, right, Kevin?
Yeah.
And I think here 160 pullback makes sense. Watch for 160 pullbacks to kind of hold. As long as 160 pullbacks are holding, you look to the left, you have a high there of 165. That was a nice little peak, another close at 158. It's kind of driving off of that previous kind of supply zone, and those pullbacks are holding right now. So as long as for me, this stock holds 160 today, it's looking good. And that's the
Yeah.
way I'd be watching it. And you see it goes to
Yeah.
160. And what do
156.
you see a
Yeah.
bunch of? Wicks underneath 160,
Uh-huh.
especially on the 15-minute. The 15-minute chart looks pretty on this. And I love when penny stocks look good on 15 minutes and 1 minute. That's one of my secrets, Kevin, is wait
Yeah.
till the 15-minute aligns with the 1 minute breakout. Then you'll have two types of traders on your trade. The more types of traders you have on your trade, it's kind of like trading with the
Yeah,
herd, but the herd is actually supporting you. So, any setups you're
I
looking at,
agree.
Kevin?
I agree. I mean, I completely agree. There's not often I see one of these. I'm like, man, that's a good long. It cracks me up when I see Michael posted on X like things about perma bears because I'm like,
I,
go ahead.
I like to make people mad sometimes. I find it
Michael's the
fun. Again,
perma bull.
I grew up in Call of Duty lobbies, right? So
He's
I
a
grew up
perma
in, you
bull.
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
yeah, I grew up in. Now I'll get bearish from the time, but if I'm a permeable, again, I'm going to be right
I have yet to
75%
see
of the
you
time,
bearish. Even in April,
and I'm
I
going to
have yet
make
to see you bearish. So shout out to you, my
good
friend.
thing. Look, new all-time highs.
I,
No, I always look at
I,
it.
I think the
So
account's not complaining. That's for sure. The
the
accounts aren't
account
complaining,
is
my friend. So
the
shout out
account is
to you.
this has
Pinkies
been
up, my friend.
yeah one of the best
Yeah.
years on record so far. Knock on wood. There's
Hey,
still a lot to go, but
hey,
Excellent.
keep going,
listen,
my friend. Keep focused.
per,
Keep
permeable,
long.
you'll be right 75% of the time. And when you're
Mhm.
right, you'll make multi hundreds of percent. Perma
Yeah.
bear, you'll be right 25% of the wrong time. And when you're like, let's say we have another 2008, that was a 50% pullback. It's rough. That means
You
you made
got
50% if you were bearish, right?
you got to take
That's
what you
all there
can
is.
get, man. You got to take what you can get. Lean to the
You
bull
know?
side, and don't be afraid to be a bear sometimes. That's what I would say.
Well, and you
Kevin,
guys see me do a lot of intraday
Yes.
shorting, right? And
well,
I think
what's
that's
your main setup today? What are you looking at? Because I know that you have at least one or two of these shorts that you're
SNG,
looking at.
yeah. Hangover,
Hangover.
SNGX. I kind of like this one for a little fade. Yeah, it's hanging over from a lot of the longs in this yesterday.
Okay.
Uh, I'd like a pop here up towards 450 would be a miracle, and just kind
Yeah.
of fade this. Yeah, because I know Josh has mentioned before too the mob shift, and it's true. In small cap land, you get the longs just hop from one thing to the other, and when they're
mhm.
off of a play like SNGX yesterday, they're going to be onto something else today, and the longs that are stuck in this deer in headlights are just going to unwind, fade their position. So
Yeah.
I
This.
like to jump the
I really like this. I think like just this setup in general, I love ever since you've been here talking about it because I think the second day setups and you see a lot of what I do is
Take
second
two.
day plays. I
yeah.
think they're really underrated because everyone,
Hmm.
like you mentioned, they got those TikTok brains. So they're like, okay, this stock has news, it's gapping up today. Let's chase this one. And then you're fighting
Exactly.
everybody. The second
What's on the
day,
radar?
yeah, you're like, give
Look
me
how
the
quiet it is.
fastest, right? The fastest
Yeah.
Yeah.
scanner, the thing that's moving today. And then you get that second day and everybody has forgotten about it, except I'd say you're generally more professional traders, the people who
Yes,
kind of reading that. And yeah,
I
so I
love
love it.
that.
I love it. And I
All
Yeah,
want to
right.
give
well,
a
All
quick
right.
shout out here.
2 minutes
We got
before the bell, I want to start doing a little something. But yeah, what's up? What's up? How you doing,
someone
man?
past
Past the 100K. What's
100.
up? What's
excellent.
up?
Good work.
Trader life.
Congratulations.
A shout out there for sure.
You get a 3 croc on that one. Let's go, baby.
Yeah, like that's awesome, man.
Hey,
That's a big boy.
yeah,
Discipline.
man.
Good work.
And now it's about focusing in and really honing in on high quality setups. That's my one
Yeah.
tip that I'd give you. It's more about a psychological game. When you first start a funded account, you're going to have some pressure on you. The one way you can relieve this is just really think about before you start that account, what's your high quality setup that got you that eval that can get you further in the funded account. So best of luck to you, my
Take your
friend.
time. Take your time.
2 minutes before the bell, my number one thing to watch. I'm watching here to see what happens to Bitcoin. MSTR is starting to trickle up. I want to see it rip if we're going to kind of climb higher. Another thing to look at, I'm looking at financials today. I think that's a sector that could get a push and a rotation. I think tech is not going to lead some of this rally in August and September. We could see a little bit of a pullback and then see what happens there. But let's get after it, traders. We'll see what happens out there. Let's go. Let's go.
PRFX, I'm a little hesitant to hold this into the open. I'm
Okay.
going to have it stop at 340, guys, in case it gets a chat room pump on it right at the open. But outside of that, GDRX, PRFX, SNGX, keeping those on watch.
Yeah, watching that GXAI pull back right back to that 160 right out the gates here. We'll see what happens on that one. I got SoFi, so I need to go focus on SoFi. I also got SMR on the swing. That's pulling back right out the gates, but I'll be watching to see what happens to that out the gates here. Willing to kind of dip by a little bit into that. DraftKings pulling back. That got a nice day trade, swing trade on DraftKings yesterday. I just made too much money too fast. We'll see what happens on DraftKings today. SoFi starting to move. GXAI starting to move. That actually doesn't look too bad there. I like it here. I'm going to take a little shot on that GXAI. I just took a little bit there. I'm going to take a quick risk here. I'm just going to risk there about $40 here off the 164. Just took that GXAI. SoFi doing good too there. I want to go adding to that here as this looks like it's going to rip here. We'll go for a little bit of an ad. I have an ad also for 2450s. Just added a little bit there in SoFi. We'll keep an eye on SoFi to see if it can pull back here to the 2440s. That's the next ad. And then I'm going to look for that to go right back to 25s. We'll see what happens on that one. Back to GXAI. Holding in here off the 171. GXAI. Let's see if this starts to push. Did you take anything? Let me know, Kevin, if you do. I can definitely come back to you. But now I'm going to look for this
PRFX,
move here.
Yeah, I jumped out of that one. Just nearly break even. I'm trying to get a fill on the SNGX hangover, but it's a little spready there.
Okay. So on the spread, one of the ways that I really suggest is at least to look into thinking about ladder entries. What do I mean by ladder entries? So you just separate your orders and you just put out a bunch of limit orders and see what happens. Which ones fill, which ones don't, and you can kind of ladder in there with that approach. I usually do it in threes just to make it easier in your mind. The middle should be your average if they all fill. That's one of the ways I look at it. But another way could be about it is maybe doing 4 and then trying to keep the middle ones close to it. Getting a quick drop there in GXAI.
Yeah, it was a little bleed in the market too. Just be careful. We're hanging out near yesterday's low. A little bit, nothing crazy. A little bit of a bleed there. And remember, we've got, I thought more. Let me check. More news coming out today. I thought.
More news.
Oh yeah, but it's just FOMC jerks talking.
All right, SPY pulling back there right out the gates there towards 642.50s. All right, we'll see what happens on this GXAI. It's back to that 160 spot. I really want to start seeing 160 hold. Could have just been a liquidity search. Let's see if it starts to go back above a trend line and starts to rip higher here.
Yeah, SPY is ticking down.
Lays, I'm starting, guys. I want to see it hold against.
Coming to you.
Yeah.
Oh, Kevin, I don't think is yours.
Why does it keep doing that? Yeah, it is up. It looks like it.
Okay, I'll get it up there. No worries. I'll just fix it. Just like 2 seconds.
All right. Yeah, the Thinkorswim has some trouble.
Yeah,
LA.
Hold
on. I got that up there for you.
All right, let's click.
Nice little. Yeah, I see what you're looking at. Right, this is one of those big move.
Yeah,
big move this morning. So it must be some news going on. This is one of those pop and drop names, isn't it? Yeah, it does this quite a bit. Where
all right, got
rips out of nowhere and then right back down at some point.
Oof, SoFi hitting me hard on that down move there. I'll look to see if I can get this to hold up here. SoFi is getting ground right now.
Nothing from the bot today, but like we mentioned going in, is that going to be a pretty chill day overall, where I couldn't find really anything that was super interesting. My bot didn't really spit out anything, and it's just because of the market, right? So, all right, we are selling a little bit. We're into yesterday's low right here, so this is the area we need to watch, because if you go on the daily chart, you can see this low has been really important. We got 1, 2, 3, 4 bottoms, daily bottoms in this area. So if this lets go, then we could get some continuation there with the overall market.
All right, guys, playing with that SoFi position, I added on it. I'm going to have to really watch that one, but GXAI is looking good here. We'll see if we get that pop. There's that pop to 180s. Now I want to see the 180 start showing up. I saw big size right there, fill. So I'm looking for the 180 fill, and then I'm going to actually look to add there. There's 180 start to show up there. Boom. Now going for the ad. Let's see if this could really rock and roll now. Taking a shot here in GXAI.
Lays, I'm going to give it to 530. PRFX, Man, that one looks pretty good against 320 now. I mean, kind of with the elevator drop.
Here, I'll bring you up, my friend. I'm looking for the 180 break. I'll let you guys know if I get that 180 break and we actually start to rock and roll.
Yeah, PRFX, we could catch this again on a short against the 320s now, which looks like it is holding up against SNGX. I'm working this one against 450. It's getting a little pop out of the gates here. Should be met with some decent resistance, and then Lays is seeing still some euphoria here right up towards the 520s. May try to do a liquidity sweep up and over the 20. May get another leg up. I mean, we'll see. I got the stop there, and it just took me out. LASE. So they're on earnings, gapping up strong into the close. So 0 for 2 right now, but we're going to get some winning trades coming.
You freak me out with that beat, man.
Yeah.
Like, my trades.
Honestly, I was doing my own my own checking in, Michael. You and I were like, hold on.
See my head snap over there. It's like,
Yeah.
the bot do something, but no, my bot has done absolutely nothing so far this morning.
I was there like, I hear feeling.
It's adapted.
I can turn it off.
Yeah. No, you're good, my friend. It's fine. We just didn't notice it.
I'm very proud of my bot here, just adapting very well to doing nothing. Right, again, a young me would be really upset that nothing's happening here. An old man me is totally okay with it. That it's just, this is the environment, right? And I want to go slow when things are going slow, and especially because I got this new account that I pass fully with the bot. I'm certainly not going to be stepping in the way of that by any means. So we're waiting, right? The market will do something at some point, and when it does, I'll be there for it. But even some of these names that I'm watching, like WULF, hasn't really triggered too much right off the open here. We haven't seen any triggers. Open is just kind of hanging out, right? It's $4, so it hasn't really done anything there as well. So yeah, we're waiting.
All right, the battle's on here, and GXAI just keeps filling in around the 170s, but could break back underneath the 160. That's definitely my out.
Open.
Yeah, GXAI wasn't too bad right there against 160s. Could have some buyers. I stepping in right there. Really solid support zone on the daily.
That SNGX is at least holding in there. It's interesting, at least. How'd that PRFX do out the gates? Ooh, still strong?
PRFX, yeah, it was selling off against the highs, and that now buyers are stepping in there. So what does risk say, guys? Risk says more things can happen than will happen. So that's why you gotta apply it.
Oh yeah.
God, let's go into a halt right now. Oh, it looked like it got stuck there for a second. PRFX.
Yeah, your LASE rejected those pre-market highs pretty hard.
Yeah, there was my top tick for the day. Put your entry at your stop, they say.
Yeah.
Or you can break your entry up. You can break it up into a few different pieces there. If you normally go in 1,000 shares, go like 250, 250, 500, something like that, towards that exact zone.
All right, looking around at my scanner here, guys, and trying not to be so driven just on my plays. Help you guys out, tell you guys what's moving. Rigetti ripping today, having a nice day. That's up to 1685s. That had a nice daily chart set up off the 1650s, so that's pushing the 17s. I already kind of knew the chart, so I can kind of clearly say that. ARM pushing a little bit today. Looking around, AEVA pushing. Looking at maybe HIMS. HIMS has interesting chart. It's really, oh man, those beeps, man, they're driving me.
I'll turn it off.
No, you're good. It's on my side. No worries. It's just more of my brain has to adjust.
I'm starting Lays again. I was about to alert.
So HIMS had like 7 or 8 days in the red. Maybe finally it goes green. That's why I'm playing SMR also. But SPY overall is trying to recover the 643s. I'm watching this 643 mark to see if we can turn this hourly candle green here, and it just be a scare. out the gates here. We'll see what happens. Getting some pressure on that GXAI. Still hasn't broken up or down here.
Yeah, that SPY move is kind of interesting. If you want to talk undercut and rally, that's definitely what we're seeing there. Right,
Yeah.
a little bit of dip it right in the morning, see if you can rip it back through. I know there's probably a lot of bears out there that are trying to get this support to break. Right, they're hammering against this long-term support. If we zoom out here, I do a 30-minute chart again. You can see this massive support that we've just been bouncing off of. So if that was it, if we just dip there and we're about to rip right back through pre-market highs, that feels to me like a little bit of a trap, right? A little bit of grab and then hose, a squat and jump, whatever you want to call it, and that's kind of what we're seeing right now. So we're moving pretty well. So I'm watching these pre-market highs. That's 643.50. Through 643.50, then I think
There
we
we
might be off to
go.
the
Got a
races.
little pop there in GXAI. Let's see if this wants to rock and roll here. Come to my charts.
Nice work. Yeah.
Let's go. Let's get this to rock,
It's
guys.
like it at least wants 2.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for, and then I can sell a little portion of it through that 2. Let's see if we can get that to get through 2 here. Come on. I got 1,000 shares, so it ain't a small position here by any means. Just trying to watch it break out through the 2s. Got some big size at 190s. Just went through. Here's the size wall, 180. We have a nice big position back there. $2 is the wall on the upside. There's there's a good amount of size right there. 16,000 shares at $2. When it gets there, I'm going to look to see what happens to this. I'm going to show you guys a DOM, and we can do the DOM or you could do the level 2. So what you're looking for is when it gets to that 16, do you start to see a bunch of on the tape, the sales, the time in sales start to hit, and does it go down fast, right? So you can see right there, now it's 18,000 right there. There's a little wall. You see how it's bigger than the bid support? So it's always at the kind of a battle, right? There's a lot of overhead supply on this stock. That's why it's been slowly moving here. Let's see if it can get the breakout right here at 2. I'm going to sell a little bit there just to make sure that we at least take profit to start the day. And then now we can be break even on the remainder. I still got 500 shares. If it breaks out here, we're good. We got 500 shares, right? So there's the 2 approaching. Now the size is gone. You see how the size disappeared? Now the size is gone. Now it gives us the ability to lift. You see how it popped there to 210 fast.
Nice.
Perfect example there for you guys to see it actually happen in real time. Now you see the support. The order is actually on the bid side. So now he's trying to get filled and trying to take some out. That guy just sold some there at the 210s. So be careful for pullbacks here. There's a bigger order that just got filled there. What was he doing? He was waiting for it to get above 2, and then he put a bid order to sell out like 10,000 shares. Can't blame him. 10,000 shares, even 10 cents makes a good money. So we'll see what happens now. Can it continue to rip? Now I'm looking for it to really start to make the move here. All right, now it's going to pull back here. Could come and get me here on the stop. Now I'm just looking for a breakout through 2. Anything in the 180s, I'll just drop my stop at 180. So we'll see if that continues to work here. I'm going to go shift to you guys. I just wanted to show you guys that trade right here, live, the way we do it, guys. Let's go.
Good work. We could even go long to short there. I mean, I got a 220 level I'm eyeballing. I'm waiting for as well.
Oh, the classic 220 pop. Let's see if we get that 220 pop.
PRFX, a few of you got that halt down. Good work there. That was tricky action. I mean, it pulled back, shot straight up to 350, and then down a point. Lays, that was an unfortunate top tick. I'm trying to work the back end of that one. It looks to me like Lays is going to go green to red. That's involving, clearly experience, but an ego. So I have a stop set on it. But it does look like, we may have put in the top there around the 520s and then looking heavy on a little bit of a bear flag off that pullback. So I'm trying to work that back in. I have a stop set close to 5. PRFX, I mean, that's a tough move to reclaim and recover from. 350, 250.
Open, pulling it back. SPY still battling that 643, just to give you guys look out there.
Steph calling me out here. I'm watching. If we get a close above 25 today, I'm putting a chunk, right? I've been just pounding the table. Give me these low bases all day long. So yeah, this wouldn't be a trade. I'm not holding this thing for a week. I'm not holding it for a couple days. It's put a percentage, a measurable percentage of my net worth into this name. Use this low as a stop, right? So I'm risking 5 points. So I'm going to be trying to make, 10, 15 points at least. Socialized, hey, let's just socialize intel at this point. That's the game plan. That's the news. If anyone missed that, is good old socialism rearing its head in intel. We're not letting it die. Everybody in the States is going to be an investor in intel, whether you like it or not. So hey, that's a good, we saw it with FMCC. It's a good partner to have. It's a government with unlimited money buying your stock. So yeah, but I want to see it close, right? I'm okay. When you're holding it for that long, I'm all right if I wanted it at 25 and I got to take it at 26 or 27, right? I'm looking for 20 points out of the name over months. But I just want to make sure that no one's using this as an excuse just to plow into it. That's kind of my idea here.
All right, GXAI guys, that was looking a little heavy right there. 2 down to
I'm out.
170s. You're out. Got
I'm
it.
out. I took the 45, guys. I raised the stop to 190s, took it out there in between there. So I'm out there, guys. It can reload around the same place that I bought at, which is 180s. So I'd watch for a break of 2 above. But at this point, I'd be playing like scalps above 2. MSTR, remember I talked about watch for that as being an important indicator. I'm still waiting for that to make a big push. It pushed and then failed. So looking around, the Qs are now failing. This is not looking good. Be careful out there.
Yeah, the rotation here that we've been talking about is still on. We have the SPY down 0.1%.
GXAI,
We have
I'm
the
interested in after
RSP.
that pullback for a short. I want to see how this level is going to hold, but there's not a lot. I mean, if 150 to 60 is going to base throughout the day, there's not a lot of room here. And also, I got the 200-day at 153, which could hold up. I mean, that level down there we've seen at double bottom. Mitch pointed it out. It could not be worth the risk on the short side because that is a good support level on the day.
Yeah, because we are seeing these small caps and micro caps holding up today, even though big cap tech is pushing down. We got, again, the Q's down 0.5%. We have RSP up 0.5%. Right, so it's definitely one of those environments where the small caps are going to be doing better.
PRFX
than large
opened
caps.
up out of that halt.
Where's that at? PRFX.
Yeah, she's a little overcrowded, creating some unpredictability there. But I mean, that 350 is going to look strong. About 70 cents off of that risk, though, so you'd have to size appropriately for that.
Yeah, I'm looking at if I'm going to take my discretionary trade today, it's probably going to be a long on TNA. I'm looking at. I like some TNA. We can use all the jokes there. The relative outperformance of small caps has been huge, right? You buy your small caps, you sell your large cap tech. That's what we're seeing today. So if we dig in here, that's going to be my shot of the day, I think.
Industrials are pushing strong, guys. So XLI is one way to kind of see if we can maybe come back. If that can really lift, we could get a push. It's pulling back here, just keeping that on track there. TNA, okay.
Just a triple leveraged small caps. And again, small caps are doing fine today, even though big cap tech, the Qs are getting hammered. So it means one of these guys like Palantir, NVIDIA or something is leading the charge to the downside again. RSP, look at this. So this is your average large cap stock today. Just ripping. Not a red candle in sight all day long. Average large cap tech doing great. The big guys are having your problem, right? The Dow is up huge. Old Papa Dow is doing great. So if you look like XLV, we'll probably be doing fine. XLF probably doing fine. Yeah, it's tech, right? Tech's having a bad day. Everything else is doing great. So pick your shots well.
Back in GXAI. All right, back in here, guys. Just going to take a shot here on GXAI off the 180s, so 10-cent risk, 170s, where the wicks were, essentially. 168 could be that kind of the push. Really just looking for a quick drive back through 2. So this is the type of move where If it's going to drive to 2, it's probably going to be a fast one. Even break down like 174 wouldn't be the good look. It's just a fast ride to 2 is what I'm looking for.
Yes, a clean pattern you got right there. I like it.
Yeah, it's just prior resistance, so it's just going back to, it broke prior resistance at the 183s, right? And then it just undercut it towards the 170s. So you're looking for a close on a 15-minute candle above 190s to show the continued trend. And if it gets to $2, well, it'll definitely push back. There it is, 190s, already a nice little push on the drive. At this point, I could be break even. I'm not going to throw it out there because if I show my hand, they'll come and grab me. But I'm looking for the $2 break here and see if it starts to go. There's 196 now.
Come on, GXAI.
Let's go, GXAI. Get a runner. Can we get a runner? Open, falling down fast. That might be a little bit of a short today, actually. Just too many hands looking at it. I saw everyone in a chat that I was talking about being long focused on open. I was like, dang it. You know what I mean? It's one of those where you're like, you hear too many people talk about your one play and one side. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
maybe I'm actually a part of this late of the majority versus the early adopters of the
Right.
trade.
Well, this is right. We talked about it in the morning. I was looking for the VWAP to VWAP move here, so a little bit of a short on open. I'm hoping we get to the 2-day VWAP so I can be out of the day trade short into the long term long. Right, that would be great. Move some money from one to the other. Then we can see if this thing goes. But again, it will be. This isn't for the faint of heart, right? This isn't.
No.
If you're sweating a 10% drawdown on this guy, you are way too big, right? Wolf, someone mentioning. Right?
The wolf.
Super annoying ticker. Yeah, they get kind of annoying when they're that. I mean, the
The
31% short interest. Yeah, exactly.
Did you say the cult?
ULF Wolf.
All right, we're seeing big, quick pickups now,
Yeah,
guys.
huge short on
quick
that.
Pickups. Look for big pickups now in your kind of stocks that are lagging. Now I'm starting to see SMR start to really drive up. I want to start seeing names that were lagging all of a sudden a quick pickup. So one way to pick this up is what are the sectors that are leading in the last 15 minutes? Energies, driving, communication services, cyclical names, apparel manufacturing, footwear names. So it's not what you think out there, right? Auto part names doing strong today.
And just beware, right? This is, even though the SPY was selling, this is your average large cap stock from the open. Just an absolute relentless rocket ship. So might need a little bit of time to cool if you're talking the average guys. If the tech just stops going down, this could be an insane day, right? 0.5% for the RSP is huge. We talked about this morning, hitting its head on all-time highs. Again, this is the average one. So always look, and I always have them up here. You can compare the Qs down to RSP, your average large cap stock up, just showing most guys are doing great.
Sorry, LASE dumping down. I'm taking half off.
That's my boy. That's my boy. And
take a look at
GXAI came back to my break even. If I would have had it, it would have broke me out, guys. I'm coming to you. There you go. We got you, my friend.
Okay, Justin, stop. But yeah, LASE. I mean, we got that crackdown. The top tick there, very frustrating, but we're sticking to the risk. So A-okay. I hit it again. Sometimes hitting them again when I take a loss like that, I'm like, my revenge trading this, but that's a time of the past, guys. I mean, I used to revenge trade, and I still hesitate. I'm like, is this a revenge trade? No. This is still a good setup. I could see it going green to red on the day. Normally, I'll take two. If I take 2 losses on a ticker, I max loss it. I blacklist it. I blacklist that ticker. I'm done for the day. And you can imagine why. Dude, early in the career, man, I'd be sitting here. You couldn't even see the chart. There'd be so many arrows. It was not pretty. But Michael, let's nerd out on that SNGX, man. I love this setup, and it sounds like you're coming to the dark side as far as these hangovers go too.
Well, right. So this is
down risking SoFi.
This is what you do as a systematic trader. I read white papers, I listen to other traders, and when something makes sense to me, and I think I could probably systematize this, So now what I got to start looking at, right? So this is just part of it. And I always take you guys on the ride. So I'm looking at SNGX and I'm saying, okay, well, what could I have used to get me into that? And I kind of look at it as, well, it broke the pre-market high just very briefly there off the open and then cracked back down through VWAP. So I'm going to start watching your trades. And if I see that happening periodically, that's a system. That's a very easy system, right? You do your analysis the night before, and I'll talk to
Exactly.
you about what I'm looking at for that
Mm-hmm.
hangover, and then I'm gonna make a list, and I'm gonna have a robot trade it. Trade the
But this
pool.
is the key. This is the key. We need to create a meme profile on Twitter that's called the Hangover, and we post them up there with memes and gifs,
Just
Yeah,
just
and
us
it's just
drinking.
like booze drink, like
Yeah.
like, and we find the CEO. We can we can with AI we can put him in the picture, and he can be hammered on the
My
floor, and that's the
liability company.
Hangover.
but yeah, just and again, it's important to walk you guys through it. Is I'm not thinking anything of, okay, well, now I'm just going to start trading this. I know I am a bad discretionary trader and I'm a good systematic trader. So I'm always just looking at this saying, well, if this is a system I can build, I've talked about it all the time. I know a couple 7-figure traders and they run like 20, 30 systems. So I'm working my way there. I've got a whole bunch of swing trading systems.
Tesla taking
They do
off.
great. The day trading systems, right? That's what I've got to. Oh, like that was, yeah, we got to get this kind of dip and rip strategy going, Mitch. Look at that, right to, let me grab my
Right to the
screen,
key, dude.
and
Let's
right
start
to the
working.
2-day VWAP. So, right,
Get to
so
work, my friend.
undercut pre-market lows, hit the 2-day VWAP, rips back through the 1-day VWAP. There's your buy, there's your stop, and yeah, you're loving life right now.
All right, guys. I just dip bought TSLL on the swing, guys. I've been waiting for Tesla's rip. Here is GXAI.
You
Money.
still with
Nick.
DXAI?
Let's
Let's
get it.
go.
Let's go. Come on. Come on.
Good
GXAI,
work
ready for
there.
it. Ready
Yeah.
for it. Let's go. Let's go. Come on. I've been waiting for you. You've been wanting to go. Will you go? That's the break of 2. Let's see it go, man. I could take the 100 here and just be like, oh, I'll just pay myself, get myself into the green. But I did downsize in SoFi, and I want to talk about that later today, guys. So remind me to talk about that. How to sometimes manage a trade that gets a little red, but since I had like management ability there, I actually only lost on SoFi about 140 versus losing 500 there at one point. It was definitely a management strategy of waiting for a little bounce and then getting out majority of the size on the bounce. Now, if it drops, yeah, probably lose like 200, but it's a lot better than 500. And at the end of the day, what you got to do is just determine like what was the max. I did have a stop place for the max. It was right underneath it. It got like within like 10 or 15 bucks there. So you got to sometimes try to take that shot. Here's the GXAI move. Are we going to get the break of 2? What has happened on the 15? This is the main thing about this stock. The 15 has continued to hold, right? And what did I talk about? If we could get a close above 180 on this 15-minute chart, this is going to look a lot better. And what did I say? When we have the 15 minutes lined up with the 1 minute, we're going to look a lot better. Right now, we have that set up with a 1 minute. If it breaks $2, guess what? On the 15, it's right the same level. Little trick there. And look for these, right? Now, look at that size going in there. Huge size trying to fill in there at $2. And it filled some and backed off. So now we need to see size fill on $2. And I'd like to see this 1 minute candle actually close above 2 here. We'll see if TSLL really starts to move. I'm still looking for SMR to push there, but going to you guys to take a look into the market. Nas, what are you seeing out there? Any patterns? Anything that you're seeing?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. We again still have big cap
Okay.
tech selling. I'm looking at like Pan W.
Yeah.
That's going to be the miss of the day. That thing's just falling apart. We talked about that earlier. But yeah, we look at the Qs. The Qs
Tesla
just
taking off, man.
Qs still hanging out near lows. RSP doing great, but starting to pull back again. Warned about this, saying, "Hey, the average large cap stock can't just rip like this all day long, relentlessly." So we got a little bit of a pullback there, but IWM flat, MDY flat, right? The SPY is trying to move up a little bit, struggling with the 2-day view app right here. You see it's hit that twice. That's been resistance both times. So just again, chop for the overall indices. That's why these guys are doing real good trading these kind of crazy low float guys that are just not really going to care what's happening in the
Loco.
overall market.
There's a pullback,
Crazy
guys. I'm
dudes.
out. I'm out. You got to be out fast. You got to be out fast. Get out. Get out. Get out. That's what I did there on that dip. I could see it coming, and I didn't want to interrupt too bad, but there it goes. Out GXAI, the liquidity search came in
Finger
there.
on the trigger. Yeah.
Got to be ready. Got to be ready. What happened there?
Oof, man, flush.
15,000 shares there at 170 waiting. And they said, let me go grab that real quick. The algo said, let me go grab that. You want to put 15,000 shares there at 170? I'll come grab it. Boom. It went down real fast. Look how it's back up above 180. That's liquidity search. It could just still drive. And sometimes you can stick with these names. Be willing to get out, in, out, in, out. But the key is you got to be quick.
Yeah, what
Still looks good if it can break 190s
Yeah, I
here.
know we were just talking about taking partials off. Maybe not mathematically smart. I would consider this now when I'm thinking about I'm taking a piece off, of LASE or SNGX. They're working out well. I always say, guys, be rigid, just rigid with the rules, flexible with the profit expectations. I started the day off with a few L's, but right now trying to milk, some of these green trades. Just be rigid with the stops, flexible with the profit expectations, because oftentimes, leaving some, they could, as Michael and Mitch were talking about, go GME style, like that open trade. And if you leave a piece and you just go into a coma and forget about it and wake up in a few months, you could be surprised.
SNGX is dropping fast, man. I just want to keep that in your radar. It looks interesting here as that starts to drop there.
I'm going to take a piece off here soon.
You already got it?
SNGX, yeah, that's the hangover one. I'm short at 411.
Nice. I like that entry.
What are you looking at?
I can see the break of 380s here being big. So you need to see size actually fill in. I'd like to see size. So sometimes we see increased volume. Increased volume can mean two things: buyers or sellers. But at certain points, you want to see increase of volume, and you want to see this side on the bid. I want to see the bid break here and bid action come in on the time in sales, not offer. Essentially, people chasing to get in, right? Like they're trying to just jump on the bid to get in. And then now I want to see that kind of action on this and big size. You see that 380, 5,600 shares? That's the type of thing that you're looking at right now. You want to see big size fill in at key spots in where the supports or resistance are. You want to see a pickup of volume.
BTU is really interesting here. Let me grab.
A little coal action.
Well, it just did like weird stuff overnight.
I love this setup. Thank you. This is what it's all about, guys.
Massive rip up, came all the way back down, but it's just been holding all morning. It's been holding around this view app. Just really weird post-market or pre-market action where, for a name as slow as this to rip up 10% and then to give it all back, it's something to keep an eye on. So I'm watching this one. If it can kind of hold and retake this 2-day view app, I haven't taken my discretionary trade yet. I might do this one. Yeah, I'm waiting for a 2-minute close above the 2-day view app, which is just right here. Just take that as a little bit of a shot. Again, I'm trying to give myself one a day, just what I'm looking for. Well, and to come up with new ideas, right? The systems I have are working. They're on autopilot. They're just going. So I need to make more systems.
Thanks for the itch. Thanks for the itch, my friend.
No,
Appreciate it.
And this is how I will trade these particular names myself, is that I'm going to look for something that's weird. Like that's a weird pre-market candle. Like this is a weird pre-market action. This is not a usual thing. And then I'm going to basically make something that really kind of slaps out and just says this is just a really weird trade, and just take one a day, right? Yeah, so I'm risking against 17, right? I use wider stops than Mitch does, so I'm risking 30 cents on this name, and just to see, right? If I always want to go for the weird. I have no idea what happened, but obviously some pre-market buying came in, and then that pre-market buying got rejected. So I just bought 300 shares, and I've got my stop under 17. And this is, again, I'm not a scalper, so this will be. Let's see if we can get back through the 2-day view app, which is 20 cents away, or the 1-day view app, which is 20 cents away. And let's see if whoever was this guy in the morning, what he was talking about. And I'll go see if I can see any news out there, but didn't see anything.
I don't know, but I like it, and I'm up 5 cents, feeling good,
Took half off SNGX, guys.
feeling a little greedy.
They canceled a buy. So they were going to buy another company, and they said no, we don't want to buy this other company because we don't think they have enough coal. I guess that's what I'm reading. So, but still, why? Like, it's just weird again, and that's what I'm going to be looking for. Show me charts that make no sense, and that's what I'm going to start playing with. Because then I will note this. If this ends up working or not working, I'll write it down somewhere. And if I see this 2 or 3 times, then it becomes a system. It becomes something that I can. 'Cause some of the best systems are ones that trade maybe once a month. It's just if you have an incredibly rare event, but that event has a whole lot of edge. It's not something you can really discretionarily trade. But if a robot's doing it for you, then you just put it in there, and it looks for this weird event that has a lot of edge.
Yeah,
I like to consider trading oftentimes like you're at the poker table and certain hands you maybe that edge, like you were showing yesterday, Michael, is showing a higher win rate than another edge. So you got your pocket aces, and it's like this is going to work more times than not. Let's put a little bit more chips on the table. Do you apply that to your bots as well?
Yes, yeah, different strategies depending on win rates have different sizing and subsets of. So this is going to sound weird, but say you have a strategy and it's got 10,000 trades in it, and it has a 50% win rate and a 2-to-1 risk reward. Well, if in that same strategy you can identify the trades that work best by like narrowing it down, those particular trades will then get more additional risk to them, right? If I know that there's a way better chance that this trade from the same strategy has like a 60% win rate and a 3-to-1 risk reward, then yeah, more capital will get applied against that. Okay. So the whole when to size up, when to size down, that happens again, but it has to happen programmatically. There has to be a back test that says, yes, you have more edge in this moment than you do in that moment, so you should apply more risk. And that's really when it gets super advanced. That's the kind of rabbit hole. Like I mentioned yesterday, going down a systematic rabbit hole is just like going down the trading rabbit hole, where I think we all get into it and say, "Oh, this is pretty easy," right? When we all got into trading, "Oh, I'm going to buy stocks that are have good news, and I'll make a bunch of money." And then you realize that you've entered a never-ending rabbit hole, and yeah, so it's the same with systematic trading. But SPY cleared that 2-day view app finally. You can see it struggled here for a very long time. Got right through that. So now we're up across the board except the Qs. So still lagging on the large cap tech. Everything else is having an absolutely great day. So
back in GXAI, guys. I'm back in. I took a 300 share position this time. Less risk as I keep playing. That's just the way to play it. For me, instead of increasing risk, I'm going to decrease risk as I keep playing it. Because it's the key here for me is that I'm getting to a point where I can't let this hurt me, but I also don't want to miss the move. So I'm expanding kind of the range and still staying in the trade now. So I'm looking for the break above 2. It could still do it. That size that came in, it never went back down to 170. It really quickly reswiped back the 180, and now it's trying to break out above the 190s. We'll see if it goes to 2 really quickly. I could add here, but that's when I start to get too pretty with it. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, Michael, another example today of a hangover. I didn't take this one, GDRX. I think Mitch had brought it up, but let me pull that chart up. GDRX 520.
Oh, I actually like the setup
520. Yeah, this is a beautiful hangover. Yeah, five. It had a little pop up there. If
Yeah.
the bot could alert it like against the previous close and previous high days are great entries. Sometimes you won't get that pop there to them though.
Yeah, I actually
Well,
like this
again,
trade. It's not a bad looking trade here off of the $5 risk here. I might even swing short this. Let's have some fun. I'll swing
the
short that to just have some fun. I took it on the swing account for you, Kevin. We'll have
yeah
some
the
fun. We'll see how it
Let's
plays
go.
out.
the
Yeah, let's go.
beauty
All right.
of the bot is it could alert against both of those and any of those. If you come up with
Mm-hmm.
3 different criterias to run the same system again, it's super
Yeah.
easy, right? You're just building
Yeah.
3 different indicators in a trading view or a trend spider and having it alert that. So that's interesting. Again, I'm going to watch these because I like, again, you guys see all the time, most of my systems are second day play systems, right? And that's because I found that there is the most edge in that second day when everyone's forgotten about the name.
Yes.
It's not nearly as crazy. It's generally easier to read, easier to see,
Yes.
and you have, which I love, I put my kids down to bed and then I have all of my trading done the night before, and it's all programmed into the system. And I've got some gap stuff that I'm doing, but I'm finding that system's actually underperforming my other one, so I might not use that one. But I like this because it fits into that mold as well, right? So it's just about being able to find and test something that would make sense there. So that's, again,
Yeah.
keep them coming, right? And then we'll find patterns in which we can systematize this one.
I like boring. I mean, boring is profitable oftentimes in
Yeah.
trading. The excitement is the unpredictable nature of like some of these tickers. Trading for a lot can be. I know I hate to use this word, but it can be gambling. I mean, it doesn't have to be.
It always is gambling. I don't care what anybody says. Every trade is a gamble. We're just using math behind it. That's that's called the intelligent gambler. There's
We're
dumb
trying to be the
gamblers.
casino.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Always risk involved, but
Yeah, like,
everybody risks. I
if
have
they
that on
tell
my.
you that a trade is in the gamble, they've never put their money up in their lifetime.
The difference between trading and like a slot machine is we see the pattern before we put our money in.
Exactly. No, it's you're playing edge. It's like Michael just said. You are trying to be the casino. You're trying to be the opposite side, but also realize that we're playing in a game. That's why I call it the trade in the pool game, right? We're all getting into the pool. Who's coming out? So you have to beat other traders to make money too, right? You're not just beating the house. You're also beating other traders. So keep this in mind because that shows you that we're in a battle against a lot of people,
Exactly, trader.
right? And so you have to trade really wisely and understand that you can't just trade what's also just blatantly like I'm just going to take this really simple strategy and think that it works every time. We have to have some adjustments. You see, even Michael, he has multiple systems for a reason, not one system. So if you do trade one system, then you got to be really selective. A lot of things will play in. We'll talk all about that during the show. Smash the like if you guys enjoy conversations like this. And if there's certain topics that you guys are like really kind of big on, we're going to be working a podcast in where we're going to be covering conversations like this. So please do us a favor, drop in the comments, drop in the chat, conversations that you guys would love to hear.
Yeah, I love what Trader Life said. Walking across the street is gambling. Everybody's a risk taker. I can't. That's when people say, it's gambling.
Drive your car.
You're risking. Yeah, it's like we just trade risk for money, but other people trade, time for money, tuition for a degree. Like everybody's a trader in some regard. We just trade risk for money.
Well, there goes your GDRX.
Let's go.
Nice. Yeah.
right.
Dude, I've often considered just trading the hangovers because
I'm gonna have some
it's
fun
such
with
a
you.
high probability. Like there's such a high probability win rate with these.
Well, let's that could be a little project when we're on. Let's show the people live from strategy idea to fully systematized robot done.
Michael, I have an idea. So let's do my strategy, right? When we're done with my strategy, we're gonna flip it. We're gonna tell it to do the opposite. where it's the pop. The if you look at this chart in GDRX, and we can take a look at it and just take a moment here. I think this is very important. It's actually our strategy, just the opposite way around. If you really look at the chart, look at it. It's the pop. We're looking for the support move, but this is the resistance move and then the fail, right? So we can just do the same trade off the VWAP, risking above this tick here, this 525, and just play it the same way, right? So we're going to look to play those names with that strategy on the reverse side on Kevin's watch list. So Kevin will give us the watch list. I'll try to implement it on that short side of it, and then we'll play it with these specific ones that Kevin can give us a nice little watch list for.
Yeah, because I've built this indicator already, and this should actually be able to trade on its own. So just to walk you guys quickly, the purple line is the high of the pre-market, right? And then I just kind of cut out like the first. I don't really care about the 6 a.m. So I think it's like after not 7:30 or 8:30. So this purple line. So what it needs is step one, it to break above that purple line, which it did. And then step two, break down under VWAP, which it did right here. So this red arrow right here would have been your entry, right? The stop loss initially probably would have been up here, but you would have just looked at the chart and probably lowered that down. And yeah, then it would, I think I have it targeting a user defined risk amount. I thought I did. I can put that in, but yeah. So now, and it will calculate the position size for you. So we're ready to go live. And what we talk about Tesla.
I could show you a folder of like tons of these to see different variations of it.
Good, right? And with Tesla, we should be able to just tell it long or short. So then here is Tesla, right? So this is this orange line. This is the kind of pre-market low that it's looking at right here. So it broke down under that orange line and then back up through VWAP. So this green arrow here would have been your entry, and right, that's the trade from there. So this is the next idea I have behind this, is this kind of fake out and then break back through VWAP. And that's why I'll be interested if I notice that this happens a lot. What was the other? SNGX was the other one?
Yeah, sometimes they just snap out of, they'll just snap real quick out of the gates, and they don't get that.
There's the red arrow right there. So that would have been your entry on SGNX. So it would have gotten that one as well. And I haven't worked out the profit target side of it yet, but that's fine because
you don't need one. They fade all day.
Yeah, you can just well, and I talk about it all the time, is what do you want to systematize? And this might be a scenario where you systematize the entry and the stop loss and the position sizing and all of that stuff, and then you just see it. You're here anyway, so it would just enter your blotter, and then as you would just bring up the chart then, and then start to kind of exit as it went. So I am like very close to this one, as in we could start experimenting with this now if we really wanted to. So I just need to separate it so we have one long and one short, and then we just create a watch list every morning of the hangovers that we want to short and the potential ones for the undercut and rally to the long side. We could just open up a second, Michael, if you're watching this. We could open up another completely, and that's the beauty of we talked about with the signal stack, is it just send it to another webhook address, and that would just send it to a completely new eval account that we are only trading like hangovers on, and see if we can pass an eval account fully robotically, just trading the hangover ones. And then when that's good, if we pass that, we add it to our live accounts, and that's just another strategy. And it's just another, like on our standard operating procedures in the morning, you just write, this is right. So I have everything I set up now. It would literally be one line of add things for the hangover, and then you're done. You're now trading that as well. So
I'm going to do a swing trade alert here on Zillow. Instead of just only focused on open, Zillow looks great today. Just got some volume. I think it could go towards like 86. So Z on the alert.
It's an interesting question, Trader Life, that probably is going to have a different answer per person. As far as how long should a day trader spend trading?
No more. Actually, staring at the charts, making decisions, I always say no more than 2 hours a day. After that, I think you're
There's like trader burnout after that, or
yeah. Well, there's been studies done on what they call deep work,
Oh.
and the best top performers out there can do about 4 hours of deep work a day. I would rank trading as the high end of that, so I say no more than 2 hours. Now, if you classify trading like me reading studies and running back tests and coming up with ideas and doing that, well then I'm going for 10 hours a day. But like actually staring at the screen, placing trades and making decisions, always less than 2 hours a day.
Watch out for some pullbacks here. I'm just looking around out there.
GXAI, your play,
Struggling.
Money Mitch, up towards 210, heading towards that 220.
Oh, I just got the fill on the ad there. I had the stop placed at 210 there. It just filled me up there for the high of the day break there. Now I'm up to 196 instead of my original entry
Good
of
work.
185 and breaking 213s with 500 shares. Let's get this going now. Let's see if this can finally actually make a run, maybe to 3, and really get running here. Let's give it the chance now to really start to break out.
Yeah, perfect fall. Good work in pre-market, by the way. I saw you hit your cue. Yeah, just over trading at a certain point. I think you'll recognize it via experience too when you are looking for trades versus just waiting for them to come to you.
Oh
yeah. Once you get to that point, it's and you'll feel it over time. That's where experience is the best teacher. You'll feel when
well,
you start.
and how tired are you at the end of the day too? Like you got to look at these things too, right? Like I know. So I go to the gym, I lift. There comes a time where I can feel burnout happen from just CNS burnout they call it, just from being in the gym too much, and then I take what's called a deload week or a week off, and then in order to get better. And it's the same with trading. If by the end of the day you feel like you got hit by a bus, you did too much, right? Do less. RSP, look at this is your average large cap stock today, just ripping new high after new high after new high. So we will see this in a lot of like XLV, healthcare stocks just ripping today. XLF, financial stocks ripping. This is just one of those days to not be focused on large cap tech, to be focused on literally anything else. Transportation's doing well. Just a lot of sectors here. Home builders just on fire. Everyone was like, I was in Spaces and everyone was laughing at Warren Buffett for buying a whole bunch of home builders, but man, guy still got it.
Nice rejection there in your GDRX. So just added big size filled there at 196 right at the VWAP. Exactly what I want to see off of VWAP strategies. Right.
With the hangovers too, like I trade them better because I know I've seen them so often. I know how they work. I get convicted. So it's like I'm comfortable in them, which helps me trade it.
NVIDIA might take down here, guys. It's scaring me for the Qs. That's one thing I just want to give on the perspective out there.
GXAI, by the way, nearly 220 holding up right now. So just be mindful of that level. It's kind of a take profitish area based on the past chart history. But we could see this thing hold the 2s now. It kind of had the triangle and it's popping back up towards the highs.
Yeah. At this point, just want to see it hold 2, guys.
That BTU.
There goes 216. Let's go. Starting to rock.
My one shot on the day on BTU that failed, so I got stopped out there.
Don't worry, that thing's coming after me too. I'm about to get stopped out of it. Also, I'm just gonna put it on the low of this 1 minute candle.
Yeah, I just had to stop at 17, the whole number, and just cracked through that. So that's okay. There's been next to no bot trade, so I just took my one shot and took a little haircut and on to the next one.
There's 220 rejection there for that GXAI. We'll see if it actually holds there. I'm looking for a break above that, but hey, if you guys want to short against me, never feel bad about it. I won't be mad at you. I really won't.
I posted in chat, guys, XNET is kind of an interesting fader today, too. It's had 3 legs up, and it is showing some heavy signs against the previous close on $8.50, pulling down towards $8. Just went red on the day after 3 strong legs up. Could be some meat on that move to fade that back down a little bit, too. S&GX, I took all that 350 where it's going sideways here. So I'm just all cash right now.
Taking a shot on this GXAI to see if it wants to run right now. Just opened up, added to it. Now I'm at 1,000 at 206, but it needs to run through the 220s right now. Come on, GXAI, get some run. And the market's not feeling so hot for me right now, man. I feel like the SPY's holding up, so that we got to look for what's holding up the market. I think that's going to be just really looking into the sectors and trying to stick with that. That tells me
Healthcare, new
healthcare,
highs.
industrials,
Financials, new highs.
financials, what I wanted to
Industrials.
look at. Bank of America is a good watch that I wanted to see today. It's starting to come back, guys. It did do that dip and starting to come back. Tesla is a really good look. I have that on the swing. JPM through 292 here. SoFi could come back still. I'm not going to leave that one out. But for right now, I'm looking for the ones that are strong. So try to find the ones that are strong in financials, industrials also, healthcare, the ones that have been staying strong, probably staying strong, Johnson & Johnson, names like that, right?
Yeah, a lot of strength out there, right? You gotta find it, and it's not in the fun place. It's not in technology, right? It's
Nope.
literally everywhere else, and we've been talking about it all day. The RSP is almost up 1%, so your average large cap stock is almost up 1% on the day, and then tech QQs are still down 0.5%. So
There we go.
it's
Got a nice
it's
pop.
right, clear as day. It depends where
Yep.
you are in this world, and if you're in tech, you're having a bad day. If you're in almost anything else, you're having a great day.
Pop definitely got sold into those 220s you talked about, 20,000 shares there at 221. So you're not the only
Yeah.
one looking at that, Kevin.
Yes, sir. Yeah. 20s usually an area. Yeah, we got to monitor it right here. This is where the mob has gone, GXAI. So it could. What was the leading play? It was this morning. It was PRFX. That's now kind of heavy, and so those longs are moving in on GXAI, and we're seeing that right now because nothing else is really popping off. So there's a lot of longs here, and shorts
There
look
we
like they're getting
go.
kind of squeezed out up into the 30s right now, 230s.
Come
So
on.
I'm gonna look at the
Ride.
next. I'm gonna take a look at the next level in the past chart history.
Let's ride. All right.
Yeah,
Looking at JPM and FAS, like kind of leverage financials ways, right? I think this is a one way to maybe scalp some of the play action today. JPM is not something I trade often, but I kind of like it here off the 292s.
next level 320. I mean, this is a resistance area. We've seen a upper wick right around where it's at right now in the past chart history. So just be mindful up here. I mean, this is more of a take profit area than a buy zone up here when we're up 100% from the previous close. So Mitch is in a good place right now,
Let's
taking
go, guys.
profits along the way.
GXAI. Let's rock and roll. Let's rock and roll. Next level, I have, for some reason, 277. I don't know where the hell I got that level. Created that back in July 10th. So,
Gotta trust them.
hey, if I did it on July 10th, it was for a reason.
Right.
We'll see if it gets to 250, and that's kind of the area where I'll sell a little bit because this is actually starting to really run here. I'm trying to look for a little bit of a bigger run now.
PRFX, great fade, guys. A sloppy
you get a
second stop to
halter?
320.
Oh, there's
Yeah, I
the
know.
240s.
Yeah,
240 showing
PRFX
up
was
real
a beauty. Really, the entry there was most predictable was that sloppy seconds push to 320. That was a decent entry. I didn't get hit that one though.
Bitcoin, yeah, Bitcoin selling here, making
That
making new lows.
MSTR has been telling me something. And look at the Qs go. Nvidia's one that I was looking to short. Now it's heading down fast there, guys. Look at Nvidia wash there. So watch out there. AMD washing with it. It's a big wash out there, guys.
MSTR on it 200 day. Last few times it's
I'm
bounced
closing
off
my
of it.
SMR. I just closed SMR. Tesla, I'm going to keep real tight here. That's a quick drop. Be careful, guys. Things are turning. and they're turning fast out there. So that
Yeah, and
GDRX, I'm actually going to size into that.
and all of this while the RSP hits new daily highs and threatens new all-time highs. So again, we're talking about all the time. This is the definition of rotation, is that big cap tech is getting smoked and the IWM is up today. Right? You heard it here. I was pounding the table. They are long. The guys that we are always fading are long the Qs and they're short small caps. So the trade that I took on in my own account is I am short the Qs and I am long small caps. And today is, you can see the smile on my face. It's a very happy day for me because a lot of hedge funds are blowing up right now. You can hear it if you listen. But people who paid attention to the positioning data, again, having a good day today in the swing account anyway.
Spot is still holding room there. Tech really taking the beating. So SQQQ could actually be going higher here with the SPY kind of coming down, going higher. Now that's the interesting one.
Yeah, well, that's again, like, look at this. I don't bring up RSP, Mitch. Look at that. So that's RSP is that is your average large cap stock today.
Yep.
Right? Your non-tech large cap stock is ripping.
Value names, man. It's the flight to quality that I've kind of pointed to also. I think the key is what's the quality though. That's the fun part, really kind of distinguishing. And
Anything that's not tech, right? XLV.
you know what's a good one that I've been looking at? This one looks
XLF.
so good. Burke B, man. I know that you're the type of player that would play a Burke B. This looks really good right now. Doesn't this setup look good? This is my type of setup, guys, where it's a long-term trend line. People that don't believe in this thing anymore. I don't know why you wouldn't, but
Well, and think about what he owns, right? He bought a whole bunch in his last 13F. He bought a whole bunch of home builders. So he owns home builders, which are ripping. He owns banks, which are ripping. He owns, right? He owns all of those value names that are just soaring today. And again, that's most
still owns
stocks.
Apple.
Yep. Right? That's most stocks are doing well today. Most stocks are not your mag 7. Right? So this is really, you could chart. Let's actually just do this. So let's go mags, or let's just do IWM divided by QQQ. We'll do a little ratio chart for the people. So this is the chart of what happens today if you are.
I'll come you up.
I got it there. So yeah, this is the chart of what happens if you were short the Qs, long small caps, and that's what else do you want, right? So and it's funny when you tune into the news tonight, they'll talk about what a bad day it was. Well, it's a great day for everything except the Qs, right? Which is really run by like 4 or 5 names. You could do the same thing. You could do RSP divided by SPY. Where is it? RSP divided by SPY. Right, so this is basically growth versus value. You could do QQ, or you could do Burke. I always love this ratio. Burke over ARC. Right, the biggest money maker of all time against the biggest money destroyer of all time, and you're seeing that rip as well. So yeah, very, very clear themes happening here in the market. Right, you want to own the value, you want to sell the growth.
Nope, and I think that's very important to catch here. I am long JPM a little bit there. AMD was one of the names I gave warning on Trader TV today, and they asked me, but what about NVIDIA and AMD? I was like, guys, this is probably not the place to be at in September and August. So just be careful out there. And NVIDIA, AMD dropping fast. Is Intel dropping with it?
Well, that's what, right? So I was asked about Intel earlier today, and I said, this is why I want to wait for the close. Charles Dow taught us like 150 years ago, the closing price is the most important. And yeah, we need to...
Open still fading.
That's why we focus on what is the most important of all of the prices, which is the close. And unless I get that close over this kind of 26, I think I said 25, but I meant 26. Unless I get a close over that 26, I'm not interested.
All right, starting to climb there is JPM, so that looks good there. Still have GXAI just riding it, just riding the 9 EMA, guys. As long as the 9 EMA holds, I want to hold here and keep riding the wave.
Yeah, I think there's certainly a trade on the short side too, but I think it's probably optimal to kind of be patient and because right now this one's stair stepping. Stair stepping, I often say, is a sign of health. We want to see a little more euphoria. It's up quite a bit, but we want to see that get a little
Yeah, remember it's a
overextended.
day one move too. That's my thing.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's still a day one move. So you're chasing
Yeah.
the fastest mover today. There's nothing wrong
Yeah.
with shorting it. It's nothing that I'm saying that you can't short and go against me or something like that. But day
Right.
one moves are usually the
Yeah.
hardest ones, right? So now I'm looking
Yeah.
for reloads slightly below this 227. This used to be a resistance. So now I'm looking for that to kind of play in here. Reloads here are where you want to be seeing. So action that ticks down, quick sweeps up. So that's another thing I'd like to look at a lot of times is like kind of the price action and kind of the sweeps, looking for the sweeps to happen on the upside of things, not to the downside. Downsides are liquidity searches, right? When it's a sweep. Looking to see if JPM can really get going there. Out there is an interesting market today, guys. Interesting indeed.
Going through some
VIX
swing
starting to
names.
spike there, guys. The VXX. We talked about the VIX meltdown, and of course, when we talk about VIX meltdown, it's probably going to be the day that we get the shift of that. So, keeping a watch on there. All swing trades now triggered out. So all the bullish ones are out. I only got shorts on that GDRX now on the swing side of things.
Yeah, I still think XNet has potential, guys. It's been fading off of my last mention
The
of it.
XAI, quick pullback right back to its break even.
Yeah, GXAI pulling back right there. We could risk off a 220 perhaps on the short side. We'll just be mindful there on GXAI. What I love, one of the things I'm sure you guys can relate to this about trading that I love so much is like we have to really define and develop this edge, right? But one thing that separates the pros from the amateurs is just your ability to detach yourself from the outcome. Like you have all of these reasons why this trade is a good trade for your edge, but it's repetition that really defines that edge. We don't know the distribution from the wins to the losses. It's the repetition that really defines that edge. So as much as we like and maybe lean into a trade, it's unlike any other profession. You can't be a doctor and detach yourself from the outcome. You can't be an engineer and do it either. But in trading, you have to detach ourselves from the outcome of this specific trade. It's more of the series, not the trade by trade individual basis.
Stepped up in that GDRX on the swing side of things. I'm 500 shares on the short side, 48. So I'm taking that trade hard on that GDRX.
I love what you're doing there. Like we from what we talked about last week, and you get more conviction. It's working out. So size into it. I want
Yeah.
take a look at some of these trades today.
Is markets
too.
markets
Do the
also
same
starting
thing.
to come down, right? So it's actually starting to help, right? So I'll look to see that the SPY breaks down. I'll look to see that the Qs break down here. VIX spikes. So VXX could be another way like swing long. I am like pretty hit hard because of SMR today. I took a big hit on SMR. I don't hide from things. I tell you guys, swing 200 down on SMR. So that's the one thing that I got to be careful because this account is a 300 max loss day and I'm at 257. Can't push too much on a day like that. Just got to stick with the trade that I have right now, which is that GDRX. But if not, I'd be opening up VIX long here and trying to ride that momentum. We'll see what happens. I try to ride momentums a lot of the
Yeah,
times
good
and
enough.
just trying to get these bigger pushes. Q's dropping fast. Look for those names like Nvidia to keep dropping. That's dropping fast.
And man, like we're almost to all-time highs. I don't want to say that because I probably have. I don't know if I've ever seen a distribution day this big where you're getting big cap tech just taken to the woodshed, but everything else is just skyrocketing. Huge day on the RSP, just insane.
GXAI is at its overall trend on the day. So be mindful there at this $2.
Yeah, it's
Let's
just
draw
a
the trend
key
line out there.
spot. key spot here. And I'm
Yeah.
looking for 3 bottoms on the 1 to see if it spikes back. And that's right now in this last minute candle. So I'm looking for maybe a slight wick to 198 to 197. But if you see 190 show up, that's when traders are going to hit the flush button.
Yeah, I'm interested too. If this thing does flush here, if it gets a lower wick and pops back up, they could be accumulating shorts too. So I'm kind of just eyeballing it here. A pop up towards 220s, I maybe get involved on a short side against high a day. I want to see what it does down here on this trend line though.
We'll see what happens there. How you doing out there, chat? Smash the like. Just checking in with you guys. All right. We'll see what happens out there, guys. Interesting day. Interesting day.
Yeah, this is wild. This is the tweet that I just posted, right?
Is Trump talking out there?
Well, unless he's saying, listen, every large cap stock is great except tech. Like I don't know what he could be saying to cause this, right? So this is the tweet I just put out.
Dude,
This is rotation in one picture. Look at this with
guys.
average large cap tech up 1%, Qs down 1%.
Who was talking about Palantir swing short? I should have stayed on that boy. That's 162 now, dropping fast there. Palantir down 11% today from the open. You got to go. When you know you got to go, right? I think, some traders are going to realize that if you don't take gains, sometimes
You must
the
mean
market will take it for you.
the leverage one, right? Palantir is down 5. PLTU, is that what you're looking at? Yeah, that would make sense.
Oh, I know what happened there. I have a multiple day outlook there. That's what it is.
Yeah, because it's only down 15% from all time highs.
There you go. 5.5 today.
PLTU. But there's probably a short PLT as well.
Oh yeah, there's PLTU. No, I don't even think there's a bearish one.
Well.
They don't even have the bearish one. Yeah, that one's down a pretty good
Interesting.
amount too.
And we're into could be a little bounce area. It'll be interesting to see how long this happens, right? So again, you like since the April lows, I've been pounding this table that they are short the SPY, they are short the IWM, they are long the Qs. And that trade they've been wrong on for so long that they have to unwind at some point. I wouldn't be shocked if we hear about in a week or a couple weeks a giant hedge fund exploding, because that feels like that's what's happening right now. That could cause this distribution of this trade that we know they were in and they know they were long on as RSP cracks again to new highs. It's just wild. PLTD tech saying. Yeah.
Oh, there
So that's
it is.
a 1x. Well, 1x bear. So it's not a leverage, but those 1x bears are good for people who are trading in
They can't
tax
like
accounts.
Robinhood.
Yeah, or even just right your what IRA, I think it's called down there. It's an RSP up here.
Yeah.
You can,
You can trade that.
You can try it. But so just again, for those who don't know what I've been yelling about, if you're new here, oops. No, don't want that.
GXAI heavy on this trend, guys. I'm monitoring it for potential short. I'm still watching it against this trend that's been on throughout the day. It looks like it's cracking it. Let's see if it's going to form that lower shadow or if it's going to stay heavy under it. That's really what I'm eyeballing here. I want to see if they're going to prop it back up over or keep it heavy.
So yeah, this is the presentation that I made at Traded TV on Monday.
There you go.
What I've been talking about, right? So this is we're looking at the red line. So the red line is the short, right? The net short. And again, I've been screaming the whole time the market's been ripping. They've been short the whole time. And they shorted more last week as we hit new all-time highs. And they bought more of the Qs. And they shorted more of the IWM. So you can see them in these two charts, right? The whole time on the way up, they've been buying NASDAQ. And the whole time on the way up, they've been shorting the Russell. And they've been wrong in both cases. So when they're wrong, people are going to liquidate. And they're going to say, okay, you got to unwind your position, which would mean selling the Qs and buying the IWM. And that's what we're seeing, right? With the IWM holding on, right? Not crashing with the market. We see the RSP, the Dow up, RSP up, mid caps up, and then you see large caps doing that. So it's all about positioning, right? That's what moves the market is sentiment and positioning.
That's all it ever is. GXAI cracked 2, then came right back. I'm still in it, but I'm ready to get out. I have stop placed now at 194 just to give everybody the insight of where my stop is placed, where you don't hear anybody else mention it, right?
Yeah, I like that though. Yeah, I like that's a good stop. It being invalidated probably back down there. But look at the trend that's been on. Every time it's gone down to that trend, it's formed a lower shadow. So
Oh
you're
yeah,
giving it an opportunity there. And
that's all you can do. That's what you can do sometimes,
yeah.
right? I've already had a rough day, so at this point, I'm trying to make it back. The big loss was at BTU. That's what's dragged me down. It was a good opportunity because the risk to return was so high, but I just went at it too hard.
You sized a little bit more on that one.
Yeah, just got a little too happy. Happy Gilmore it,
Certainly done that too.
I happy Gilmore it. VIX jumping there. SPY dropping fast, man. It is about to lose altitude here. JPM though still in the green. That's the fun part. I'm just gonna watch some financials here to see what happens. But
yeah, look at the green stick here on financials today, right? If you go into, you can see it in the daily chart too.
The fun part
Financials
is
dripping, healthcare.
I mentioned financials at least on Trader TV today, so we're doing good in that sense, Michael. We're keeping them on the right games, and that's just how it goes. We'll see what happens here, man. This is an interesting day. And I talked about NVIDIA and AMD is probably not the place to be, and it's dropping fast, man. NVIDIA's down 177, and the daily chart just looks like a correction mode. And also AMD now, right? So almost like you'll see traders start to bet between the short moving average and like kind of the medium term moving average, whether it be the 20 or the 50. So I think you're starting to see some bets getting put on kind of the breakdowns there.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's just, again, the reason we're hammering this so much is that we kind of saw cues of this over the last few days where IWM was doing okay and then the rest of them were struggling. But this is really the day, right? I am very confident that we're going to hear, if you pay attention to these things, that we have
Some
hedge funds
unwind.
imploding. And right, someone, and not necessarily because they like lost all their money or anything, but if you've been underperforming this long, right, by being short the thing or being long the thing that's underperforming and short the thing that's ripping, eventually your people just come to you and say, "Give me my money back."
Oh yeah, they'll ask for it.
And then you've got to get rid of your trade, and it doesn't matter what price it is. You got to get out. It seems like that's what's happening here.
No bueno, no fun either.
Not quite liquidative because right, we're only down what 0.84%. That's not like a liquidation, and we're just down a little bit, but it does feel like definitely an unwind where they've got to do it, and it's probably going to take a couple of days. So watch for this trend to potentially continue over the next few days where you're going to see large caps outperforming small caps just over and over and over and over again. And if you can spot that, you can trade it. So you can have your list. And then eventually, when it's done, when those positions are no longer when they're not incredibly wrong, they're only a little bit wrong, then everything can return to normal. And you can have a bounce back in the large cap. And then you can have a little bit of a sell down in the IWM. But while a forced unwind is happening, it's the best trades you can have. So again, I'm totally talking my book as someone who's got a pretty massive short on the NQ and long on IWM in my personal account, just because I have a whole system based off of positioning. So
All right, we'll see what happens out there, guys. And time for me to head out here. But I'm going to head out like always. I'll leave you with the boys to wrap it up. Just about another 10 minutes, 12 minutes here. Like always, guys, take care. Be safe in this market. It ain't easy. I just took the out there on GXAI. And as soon as I take it, there's some fill there. 32,000 shares this went in. So maybe that comes in, brings it right back. I'm out of the trade. So now maybe look for the big rip. We'll see what happens on GXAI. Yeah, there's some big size filled there. 31,000 shares, 200 at 197, and look at that, it's coming back to the $2 spot there. I'm gonna ride with that JPM as the last trade of the day. The big trade for me is gonna definitely have to be the GDRX. GDRX on the swing side of things. We'll see how it works out. I think it could fill the gap, and I think it could even go underneath that low of yesterday. So I'm going to try to drive this down to tomorrow. Maybe it gets down into the lower fours, and I'm able to take a nice trade back into the 9 EMA. We'll see what happens on this. Nice trade, my friend, Kevin. Like always, we can't make each other take trades, just like we can't make you guys take trades.
Right.
One thing we can do is put things on the radar for each other, and then you guys call your shots, right? That's what it's always about. And we'll just keep partying here. Like always, guys, we'll keep it rocking and rolling. Hope you guys enjoyed the action today. The boys will keep it going here. I hope you guys have fun, and let us know in the comments, right? Things that you guys want us to cover on that podcast style coverage. It's going to include all of us. We're going to get a bunch of traders. We're going to even include some bigger names. So look out for that, and we'll keep it going. Trade the pool, baby.
Good to have you, Money Mitch.
Always
take it
care,
easy.
guys.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm watching. So again, I can only take one discretionary trade a day, and this one was awful. So, but I'm still gonna watch this BTU because again, this pre-market action was wild, and we're starting to get out of a low base here. So it's an interesting one to keep an eye on. Are you usually done around this time, or do you sit here all day and continue to hammer at it?
No, I usually, normally I'll take the trades as they come, and I'll be wrapping up. I think that 2.5 hour is good. It's wise. I know you mentioned that as well. And then the trader burnout. It's you just can notice, and then things slow down, but they're not bad for like the hangover. So for Money Mitch leaving that trade on, that's really wise because those hangovers often will fade. So just taking them off at this time's oftentimes early. So it's probably wise to leave some positions like that on and just go walk. Have your stops, have your trails in place, and just go for a walk. But yeah, I mentioned in chat, guys, been probably a little too hesitant right now. There's a couple I like. I got the $100 on the day, and I've been just kind of kicking back. What about you, Michael?
Well, for me, right, it's a little different because I'll leave the bot go all day, but it generally the exits that I use are simply end of day. So I come back here at the end of the day and make sure that everything's gotten liquidated out of my own account and trade the pool account. One benefit is that with interactive brokers who I trade with, you can use time stops, so you can actually within your entry orders say at. And I usually pick like a couple minutes before the close, just send out a market order on these positions. So I'm just here just to make sure that happened.
Yeah.
But it's an interesting day for it because again, I mentioned this morning that this was the lowest amount of symbols from a day trading point of view that I could potentially have the bot trade, and it's traded none of them. So it's done. So the only trade I really took was this BTU and got stopped out of that, right? Things like Wolf and all of this I wanted to take trades on, but I just don't. This particular system generally works better when it's earnings, and this one wasn't earnings, so I want to play the earnings fade more than anything. I missed the Pan W. And again, just sticking more and more to the thing that I can really run that epic back test on, because for me, that's everything, is to be able just to go and put my finger on it and say, that gives me the confidence to do all of this. Right?
Yeah, because you get the 25 years of data. I mean,
yeah, my co-host always just calls it, right? What's the path to confidence, right? And the path to confidence in your trading. And for me, that's a big back test, is that I can go and I can just look at it and say, hey, this is what I should expect from this, right? And I don't need to expect anything else, right? I can bring in like I have. Let's see if this is small enough right here. Sometimes, no, image is too large, so I gotta shrink that. See if this will work.
But yeah, around this time, I try to focus quality and not quantity. Really, you gotta just waiting for really the screamers to come through to keep ourselves from over trading. I know that's something that I, in the past, and a lot of newer traders will have trouble with, because as a newer trader, I mean, you don't necessarily recognize all the different patterns, or you may not have the criteria in place for uh, your strategy. And that's where these evals come in. And very good to really hone in on what is your edge and sticking to that, not trading outside of that, or if you do, size down.
Oh, I love it. I always talk about evals as paper trading with a bonus, right? Where
Hmm.
go nuts. It's $100. Let's say you burn through a 25K eval a month. That's $120. It's a couple Starbucks runs. It's not a
Couple Starbucks.
huge.
What drinks are you getting?
Oh man, if you go with a family of four through that drive through, you're spending $50 anyway. So right, you're not spending a lot of money, and it's better than just straight paper trading because you have that benefit at the end where you could potentially, if your system works out, you could pass and you could get an account, you go from there. But yeah, so this is where my confidence comes from, right? These are the day trading systems going back to the year 2000. And all of the different lines are the different systems, and sometimes you can see some do well and some do poorly and all of that. And then this line right here, this is the shaded line, is the total of combining all of these four systems together. And I
Uh-huh.
quite often will do six systems, and see if I can grab that one. But yeah, you have to find that, because I find that that's what most people, they'll say, hey, my emotional stuff is my problem, but then they don't. I say, okay, well, what's your system? Show me some evidence that what you're doing works, and they don't have anything. And it's like, well, of course you're floundering, because you're just
Well,
going from what one guy said on YouTube to what the other guy said on YouTube, kind of
here's
over and
my
over again,
equity curve.
right? And it's
Ooh.
like, this
Just flip the
is,
computer around.
yeah, and like this is the six systems. So I'm okay if I have, and
Yeah.
it looks perfect when it's zoomed out like this. But if you zoom into any given time, you'll see that there's sometimes that are working great and sometimes that are working poorly, and that's where
Yeah.
a chart. I can't grab this all because I won't
Trusting the
fit it, but
system and not the ego. Trusting, yeah,
yeah,
feeding your account, guys, not feeding the ego.
right. So then this is, and I have this for every month going back to the year 2000, but these are the month by month returns, and I can see, right. Look at this in 2020, losing month, losing month, losing month, and so seeing these things makes me, so if I have two losing months in a row, I'm not panicking and jumping ship to a different system and doing all this, because I can just look at it and say, well, 2020 there's two losing months in a row, and 2024 there's two losing months in a row. I can just see all of this at any given time. So then this gives you confidence that eventually you keep
Mhm.
trading the system, and then eventually you end up, doing okay. So yeah, find your confidence. However you're going to do it, it's going to be different for everyone. Some people it's
Mhm.
just screen time. It's just trading for a long period of time. For me, it's just the mathematics and the testing, where I can kind of really put my finger on. If someone asks me my edge, I don't need to guess. I just go, it's right there. That's the
Yeah.
edge, right? It's that includes slippage and commission and all of those. Making sure you're testing robustly. But yeah, there's really no question there, and not something I have to worry about. And it just helps with all aspects, because again, today I'm down because I took that one discretionary trade. I should have not done anything, because the robot didn't do anything. But I'm not sweating it, because I just know that these trades that I'm taking are very small, and over time the bot will end up doing fine and making money. I just have to turn it on tomorrow and do the same thing.
Yeah, just keeping it systematic, guys. That's the idea. Even with your trading, even if you don't have the bot, or you're going to get it, one soon, just making sure you try to keep that trading as systematic as possible. I mean, you can do it even by utilizing certain order types like OCOs. One
Hmm.
cancels the other. Just systematically, getting involved, getting your entry, and then setting that stop. I know some discuss mental stops, and small cap land is very dangerous. In fact, we could go over three different tickers that happened last week. They went from a few dollars to like 30, 40, and they ruined traders' careers, even those that may be good traders. But allowing one ticker to define the trading career, never a good idea. So
Yeah.
always set the stop and really embrace that risk.
Absolutely. And that brings us to our time today. As always, I appreciate everyone for coming by. We'll be back tomorrow. We've got more. I'm looking at FinViz over here, and looks like some more action tomorrow might actually kind of kick us out and get a little bit more action. We've got all kinds of FOMC nonsense tomorrow. That could be one that's really cool. I don't know why that guy's here. Get him out of here. Who invited that guy? Go away. Remove from scene. I can't do that. He's got more power than me. But yeah, so stay tuned tomorrow. Again, another exciting day. I think this unwind is going to continue. So maybe some more weakness in large cap, maybe some more strength in small cap, and I'm here for it. I'm here for the hedge funds explosion. They've got a little too over their skis with that one. So I will see all of you guys tomorrow. I gotta get my
love co-hosting with you, Mr. Michael. Nerded out on trading, guys. If you're sticking around, make sure you got the discipline, risk management, no over trading, as we were discussing earlier, but just letting the trades come to you.
awesome.